So they said Lane out 4 weeks. Now, I love Lane. Don't get me wrong. I love Lane. But when Jason Peters and Lane out, when both tackles are out, is the offensive line performing better? In my opinion, yes. In my opinion, the offensive line is performing extremely better when Lane Johnson and Jason Peters is out of the game. So Lane being out, is it a bad thing or is it a good thing? I mean, Big V showed that he could get it done down the stretch last year. I think it's time that we activate Big V. I think it's time we give Big V a nice size role anyway. Now, people like to say the offensive line is stinking. Carson Wentz. Let's talk about Carson Wentz right now. The offensive line directly affects him. He's the starting quarterback. Carson Wentz is the second player in NFL history to have a QBR of 115 and higher through 4 games. The other player is a Hall of Famer in Peyton Manning. So all this nonsense about is Carson Wentz overrated? Is Carson Wentz hurting the team? No. How is he hurting the team? 13 touchdowns, 2 picks. Arguably having a better season, a better start to the season than the MVP campaign of last year. I mean, he didn't get MVP, but he was amongst the guys with his statistics and his bravery. You know what I mean? Just look. I'm not as worried about the offensive line as a lot of people might be. Now, Lane is a leader. I think that we can fill that void. Basically, what I'm saying is we can fill that void. We good to go. We can fill that void. Now, I want to talk about the offensive line opening holes for the running backs. The holes have been there. Look at the tape. And shout out to Angry Bird, man. Shout out to my Angry Bird guy, man. I saw his Twitter and it opened my eyes to some things, man. Now, the holes have been there. The only running back to expose the holes, exploit the holes, and utilize the holes has been Josh Adams. Now, Wendell Smallwood and Corey Clement need to start using these holes like they've been taught. The vision isn't there for them. That's the problem. The holes are there, but the vision isn't there. Josh Adams is slower than both of them, but he broke off a 20-yard run against the Jaguars. That's not easy to do. It's a vision thing. And I'm glad we didn't jump the gun and decide to pick up a running back. Like I've been saying, man, some of these things, and I was a guy that wanted shady. I thought it was something wrong with Josh Adams, which is why they weren't playing him. But some of these things could be right on your roster, right under your nose. You got to give these guys time to play. Now, our big rugby player at left tackle, he should see some of this time now. Maybe he could possibly be the most dominant blindside blocker ever. We gotta try him out and see. We know he's fresh, we know he's new, but some people adapt to situations and some people turn it on when it's time to turn it on. You know what I mean? We're sitting here at 4-4 now. We're sitting here in prime position to take control of our needs. Let's talk about the rest of the schedule moving forward. Now, Lane is going to miss 4 weeks. That's 3 games because we got to bye. We have 5 division games left. We got the Cowboys twice. We got the Giants one more time. And we got the Redskins twice. And then you sprinkle in the Texans. You sprinkle in the Saints. And you sprinkle in the Rams. And I'm not sure if it's one more or not. But you sprinkle all that in there right now. We're in control of our destiny. Now, if you're sitting here asking me, can we beat the Saints? Yes. We could beat the Saints. Can we beat the Rams? Yes. There has been not one team that we've played this year that has totally done away with us. Yes, we've lost games. I know that. We've lost games. I'm aware of that. But who has exposed us? Who has blown us out of the water? Who has done away with us from start to finish? Through the first 8 games of last year, the amount of points given up to the first 8 games of this year are equal. We like to blame the offense. We like to blame the defense so much, but the same amount of points throughout the first 8 games were given up as the same amount of points throughout the first 8 games of this year. We have given up. The only thing that was different from this year and last year, we were 7-1. We're 4-4. Dumb mistakes are killing the Philadelphia Eagles. We're killing ourselves, which is why that I can't write us off yet. Which is why a guy who knows the game and the statistics, Carson Wentz is playing better statistically. The defense hasn't given up any more points through 8 than they did last year. It's equal. And we have lost every game by 6 points or less. What does that tell you? That tells you we have been shooting ourselves in the foot. We've been shooting ourselves in the foot. Of course, rivals and of course other teams in the NFC are going to say we're trash. Of course, they're supposed to say that because the record is 4-4. But the facts remain the same. We ain't give up no more points. And Carson Wentz ain't slowed down. Carson Wentz is still looking like Carson Wentz to me, if you ask me. Now, one thing that is the problem, like I've been saying throughout the course of my last couple videos, is this scheme has not changed. With a new season, you have to adapt with the new scheme. We have to change the scheme. When you go in halftime, every half, you gotta change things up. You can't come out and do the same thing you did in the first half as you're going to do in the second half, because teams are going to adapt to what you did in the first half. So therefore, you gotta counter adapt. That's how this thing works in my mind. Mind you, I've never been an offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator, but if you come out and play the same zone as in the first half and as in the second half, from a defensive standpoint, you're going to get picked apart. Blake Bortles should not have thrown for 286 yards. Marcus Mariota should not have thrown for 300 yards. Cam Newton should not have been able to throw 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. No, it shouldn't be happening. Blake Bortles should not be running on us for first downs. Change the scheme, and the games are winnable. Carson Wentz can throw on any defense in the league. Any defense in the league. You keep waiting for Carson Wentz to have a bad game if you want. You keep waiting for Carson Wentz to have this 4-interception game, 125 yards. Carson Wentz ain't Dak Prescott. Carson Wentz is not going to fold like that. Now, quarterbacks have bad games, but Carson Wentz is not going to do it to us like that. He ain't going to do it to us like that. The trade deadline coming up. What would I like to see happen? I would like to see a speed wide receiver or nothing. Or nothing. I don't believe at this point we need a running back. I believe I saw enough in Josh Adams in that game. They gave him a chance. I believe he can find holes. I believe he can display vision. I believe he could get it done. I want to see a speedster, or I'll take a tackle. I'll take a tackle. I'll take a tackle. Jason Peters ain't looking like himself. You know what I mean? Lane Johnson gonna miss 3 games. I'll take a tackle right now. I'll take a tackle. A cornerback would be a wasted opportunity because it's not the corners, it's the scheme. It's the scheme. I'm tired of saying it. It's the scheme. And we've used Jalen Mills as a scapegoat for poor scheme. Shame on us. We caught on to it late, but it's the scheme. I don't care who you put. You can put Deion in his prime back there in that scheme. If you make him sit right here, I hope the ball gonna come right to him, they gonna go over there and get the ball. It's the scheme. It's the scheme. A little more man-to-man. We got Dak Prescott. We could play man-to-man. We could press and blitz and play man-to-man. We got Dak twice. We got Alex Smith, who's terrified of the deep ball. You know what I'm saying? We got Eli Manning one more time. Okay, they can't do nothing. They can't do nothing. If you sit there and play a scheme against Drew Brees, we're done. We're done. You got the Texans coming up. Deshaun Watson can throw the ball, but you don't want to play no zone with him and Hopkins. You see what I'm saying? Then you got the Rams. You don't want to play no zone with a lot of these teams. But within you don't want to play man, I'm sorry, with a lot of the matchups. But within the division games, the 5 division games that's left, we can blitz and we can press in those games. And we will win those games. I'm trying to tell you. We can blitz and pressure in those games and we will win those games. The scheme got to change or the coordinator got to change. I'm trying to tell you, the scheme got to change or the coordinator got to change. We all know what got to happen here. We're not blind to the fact. And the more we win with playing this scheme, 90% of the game, the more he going to do it. The more he going to do it. Jason Peters and Lane Johnson get healthy, but I believe the offensive line will do fine. Trade deadline in less than 24 hours. I'm going to be shooting an episode with Uncle Leroy. Very special episode. It's going down tomorrow. We're going to talk about our team needs for the trade deadline. We're going to talk about the states of our team. We're going to talk about everything, Lil Brunson style. And I am back at you with the back at you. And I am the best reporting on the Eagles.